Find other great podcasts like this one at podmoth.network.
I'll go into your van, witchy woman.
I'm Neve from Ireland.
And I'm Emily, living in Chicago.
And we have never met in real life.
Fortunately, you don't need to live on the same continent to make a spooky podcast.
So that's exactly what we did. We created Ronan Pine, our folklore, mythology, and spooky stuff podcast.
You can find us on your favorite platform, and we already have over 35 episodes ready to binge.
Don't forget the spooky shorts.
Right. We also have a bunch of short episodes if that's what you're into.
Come on, get spooky with us and frick yeah, folklore.
Love a good mystery that leaves you wanting more? Check out my podcast. Hi, I'm Kadra, the host of Perplexity, a Mystery Podcast. I tell tales every single week that have left me perplexed. You'll hear true crime cases, mysterious disappearances, learn about cults, hear baffling sightings of cryptids, chilling paranormal encounters, and even dark and weird history. I release new episodes every Wednesday, and you can listen anywhere podcasts are available. I'm also on Patreon, and you can even watch me on YouTube. Perplexity, a Mystery Podcast. Stories that will leave you perplexed.
Welcome to the Brutal, Bizarre, and Boozy Podcast. I'm Deklan, the son.
And I'm Jane, the mom. This is the podcast where we talk about brutal crimes, bizarre occurrences, and get you drunk with cocktails themed around one of our stories. To lighten things up, we'd like to end our time with a chaser. Please keep in mind some of our stories might be upsetting to young or sensitive ears.
We love hearing from our listeners, so feel free to contact us by email or social media. You can find our contact info in the show notes for this episode. If you'd like to support us through Patreon, you can find us there at Brutal, Bizarre, and Boozy Podcast, or use the link in our show notes.
Welcome back, friends. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, good to talk to you all again. Nice.
Yes.
Nice to see you, Mom. Thanks for hanging out with us, everybody.
Yeah. How are you doing today, Deklan?
I'm all
Short
right.
of
How are you?
our technological issues.
Having some technical difficulties, but they're
Yes.
hopefully all figured out. So
We hope so. What story are you going to tell us about?
I'm going to be talking about Jamie Lavis.
Okay.
It's a weird story. What are you
Ooh.
going to be telling us about today?
I'm going to be talking about an interesting book. It's a memoir, to be specific, and there was a poem contained in the book. So we'll get into that. But the drink that I brought to go with this story is called the Gold Rush. It is made of 2 ounces of bourbon, 1 ounce of lemon juice, 3/4 to 1 ounce of honey syrup. And then the steps are to, like usual, combine all the ingredients in a cocktail shaker with ice, shake well to combine, strain into a cocktail glass, and garnish with a lemon wedge or a lemon twist. So, are you ready for our Gold Rush cocktail?
Let's
Give it a
give it a try.
little sippy sip. I think it's going to be good because it's got all the stuff we like in it.
Yeah.
It's nice. I thought the honey syrup, I was a little
finished
worried
that.
about the honey
That's for
syrup. Because honey syrup can be a little heavy for me. I don't really like the flavor of the honey too much, but I don't taste it. There's enough lemon juice in this to cover it up.
Yeah, it's pretty tasty.
It's a good drink.
It blends well. It's almost like a lemonade,
Yeah,
with the sweetness and the
right. Yeah, it's
Pretty tasty.
pretty simple.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to read you a poem because this was the poem that was in the book.
Okay.
Are you ready? It's a longer poem, but I feel like I have to read the poem to go with the story.
Yeah.
Here's the poem. As I have gone alone in there, and with my treasures bold, I can keep my secret where, and hint of riches new and old. Begin it where warm waters halt, and take it in the canyon down, not far but too far to walk. Put in below the home of Brown. From there it's no place for the meek, the end is drawing ever nigh. There'll be no paddle up your creek, just heavy loads and water high. If you've been wise and found the blaze, look quickly down your quest to cease. But tarry scant with marvel gaze, just take the chest and go in peace. So why is it that I must go and leave my trove for all to seek? The answer I already know. I've done it, tired, and now I'm weak. So hear me all and listen good. Your effort will be worth the cold. If you are brave and in the wood, I give you title to the gold. So the poem was in a man's memoir, and the reason I brought the drink was because it had to do with gold.
Makes sense.
And the man that wrote the book and the poem, his name is Forrest Fenn. And he hid a treasure. And the poem was to guide people on the treasure hunt. So let's talk about Forrest Fenn. He was born August 22nd, 1930. He grew up in Temple, Texas, as the middle child with an older brother and a younger sister. Throughout his younger years, the family would often vacation in Yellowstone National Park, which was about 1,600 miles from his hometown. They typically drove there, which is a long drive to go anywhere. They spent a lot of time fishing and exploring the outdoors and grew fond of adventure. He enjoyed collecting things, including string, marbles, and bottle caps. So he wasn't a hoarder, but he liked making collections of things.
Of garbage, strings, bottles,
Marbles.
or bottle caps. And
Yep. While in high school,
strange.
he met a fellow. It is strange, but I don't think it's that strange, especially for a kid. I mean, some kids collect, rocks and have a rock box. Maybe they were really cool bottle caps. I don't know. The string is a little weird. While in high school, he met a fellow classmate, Peggy Jean, who would be his future wife. After graduating in high school, he attended classes at Texas A&M. However, he wasn't officially enrolled in school there. So he just, after he graduated high school, just showed up to college and then just, sat in some classes for a day.
I mean, Stanford supposedly posts their full lectures on their website, so
Yeah.
you can learn for free, but
you're not going to get the degree. But if that's not
you
your
can learn.
goal and you just want to learn, who cares?
Yeah.
Well,
Exactly.
Texas A&M didn't like it, and they told him to go away.
Okay.
Yeah. So after that, he enrolled in the Air Force. He enlisted in the Air Force. Basically, when college kicked him out for not being a college student, he was like, all right, well, I guess I'll join the military.
And when was this again? I feel like
it would have been the late 40s because he was born in 1930.
those were the two options at the time. You go to college or you go to the military.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Or you just work. There's
right.
three. I mean, there's always just three options.
There's always basically those three options. Yeah. He enlisted in the Air Force and was first taught to be a radar mechanic and later was accepted to pilot school. So he started training to be a pilot. Forrest and Peggy were married in 1953 after he finished his pilot training. The couple would later have two daughters, Kelly and Zoe. As an Air Force pilot, he served stateside and overseas, flying multiple types of aircrafts. He went on over 300 missions during the Vietnam War and was shot down twice. Which, I mean, you get shot
Wow.
down, that's bad, but twice.
And being able to land and live, that's
He
impressive.
lived. Yeah. He was a decorated soldier with many medals and awards for his service. With a big transition after retiring from the Air Force, Forrest moved into the art world. Initially, he did bronze sculptures, but soon his collecting habit was reignited, and he amassed a lot of Native American artifacts, paintings, pottery, and ancient civilization antiques. I guess he gave up the bottle caps and strings. You know, when you get older, you got to go on to fancier things.
True.
Yeah. He would often barter or trade his sculptures for pieces that he desired. After his collecting led to the opening of Fenn Gallery Limited, he officially became an art dealer in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Life took a sudden turn when Forrest was diagnosed with cancer in 1988. Although he survived the cancer, it led him to develop a stronger love for life that he fostered for the next couple of decades. Then in 2010, he decided he wanted to share his zest for living and encourage an adventurous spirit in others. He decided to publish a memoir called The Thrill of the Chase, in which he told stories about his life, growing up, and some of his key memories throughout the years. But this wasn't just any let's start that, try that again. But this wasn't just any memoir. That's really hard to say. Like, those words and that combination don't want to come out of my mouth without me tripping on my tongue.
Do you have an extra drink before this one?
I did not. And I've only had 2 sips of my cocktail, so I really shouldn't be
Can't blame it on
stumbling
that.
over words. No.
Yeah.
No. But the book contained stories about his life, but it also contained the poem that I read before, which I don't get poems, but, you know, I guess he wanted to do it. He did it in a really artistic way, to just, rather than just telling people, you know, I planted some jewels. So the poem contained 9 clues to buried treasure. What better way to market your memoir and promote adventure in society than to give clues to a treasure in the pages of the book?
This sounds like a video game. Like,
Yeah, I guess
something
it
that
could
would be
be.
an Assassin's Creed. Like,
For sure. Like, you got to
Yeah.
solve
you got to solve the puzzle, and it leads you to where the jewels are at.
Yeah. The treasure was a true treasure, too. It was a bronze box that contained gold coins, gold nuggets, gemstones, as well as some unique pieces of jewelry. The value of the treasure was estimated at over $1 million.
Wow.
Yeah. Forrest filled the box and hid it before publishing the book and its clues. He was the only one that knew the location of the box. Treasure hunters from across the globe started diving into the book and analyzing the poem to develop an idea of where the treasure could be located. Forrest did mention that it was located in the Rocky Mountains north of Santa Fe, New Mexico, which could help everyone to narrow down their hunt. A little. I mean, at least you know it's in the Rocky Mountains. It's not like,
which is very large. That's a large amount of area to search.
It is, but it's smaller than the
especially-
world.
Yeah, but it's also the terrain, I'm assuming, is hard to navigate. So it's not just walking through a field and, oh, here's the treasure chest.
Stumbling on a box. Yeah.
Yeah. You got to climb up and down a mountain, and they didn't have drones or back then, so they couldn't.
Not your average person, because it was 2010 when he buried it. It narrowed it down a little, but it's still a huge amount of acreage to try and find a box that was 10 by 10 by 5 inches. So
it's tiny.
A shoebox.
I feel like that wouldn't hold that much money, though. I mean,
well, gold coins and gold nuggets
I guess. Yeah.
and some
If I
jewelry.
can buy 5, that's
It's a pair of shoes.
okay. If it was
Yeah.
just gold, it'd be worth a lot of money, but
Well, there were gemstones like rubies and emeralds and that kind of stuff in there too. And
mm,
so there was a collection of things. Several hunters believe that they solved it correctly to later learn that they were in the wrong location. So some people are following this clue like, oh, the warm water and the part in there where below the home of Brown. So they're like, oh, there's this mountain that's got hot springs, and there was a guy that lived there once, and his last name was Brown. And they think they've got it, and it's like, no, clearly that wasn't it, I guess. Yeah. It didn't deter them from trying, and they kept searching. They'd find a place, go, this isn't it, and then go, well, okay, let's find the next one instead of giving up. I might have given up, but Forrest was interviewed multiple times by the media, and he would occasionally give further clues. Interest in the treasure grew with more and more media coverage, resulting in thousands of people searching for the gold. But as expected, there's a downside to the fun. Sadly, a few of the treasure hunters died in their pursuit of finding the gold, which definitely troubled Forrest. Other searchers broke some laws in their attempt to find the gold. A little trespass here, a little, breaking and entering into
yeah.
not good
Got
stuff. But
get a little sketchy.
yeah. He was asked more than once to stop the treasure hunt to prevent any further deaths or injuries, but he didn't cave to the pressure, and he just continued giving clues and giving interviews, and people just kept looking for it. Forrest was open to discussing the hunt with some of his fans, and he would get hundreds of emails a day to answer questions or evaluate clues. Some treasure hunters became fully obsessed with Forrest and his family, with one man showing up on the family's property uninvited and another man stalking Forrest's granddaughter. So I guess when you make a little treasure hunt with random clues, then people get crazy about it.
Yeah.
As the search went on for years and years, skeptics believed it was all a hoax, but the true believers kept searching. 10 years later, in June 2020, Forrest reported that the treasure had been found, breaking the hearts of the treasure hunters who were still searching. The excitement of the treasure being found quickly, I shouldn't say the treasure wasn't found quickly, but the excitement quickly turned to skepticism because no information was furnished about who found the box or where. Forrest just said, the search is over, the box has been found, and then didn't give any more information for a while. And people were like, well, this is bullshit. It was all make-believe, and otherwise you would tell us. Then the questions were, did the treasure really exist? And if it did, who found it, where, and how? Forrest did eventually tell everyone that the treasure had been found in Wyoming and that the finder had requested to stay anonymous. But before Forrest could give any further information about who found the treasure, he passed away just after he turned 90 years old.
Oh, don't tell me this is an unsolved mystery.
No, it's solved.
Okay.
It's solved. Yeah. Of course, his death really frustrated those who questioned the authenticity of the claim that the treasure had been found. Lawsuits were filed against Forrest and after his death against his estate, also including the anonymous finder. The legal proceedings in themselves could force the name of the finder to be revealed. Due to the pressure of the circumstances, Forrest's family decided to announce who had ultimately solved the riddle, and the finder himself agreed to be interviewed to discuss the details. The finder was named Jack Struve. He was a medical student from Michigan. He first learned about the treasure 8 years after it had been buried in 2018. The idea of the hunt intrigued him and reminded him of his childhood pursuits to solve mysteries. He soon became obsessed with the idea of locating the treasure and spent time searching for it. Once he found the box, he notified Forrest and then drove to Santa Fe to meet him. Pictures were taken of Jack and Forrest going through the box together. So it was confirmed this is the guy that found the box. But the story doesn't end there. It's
like
cool.
Geocaching to the max.
Exactly. But you're not given the location and you don't have to try and read the geography stuff. You just got to try and figure out what all these cryptic things in the poem mean.
Yeah.
One of the really tenacious treasure hunters was really focused on finding the exact location. His name was Justin Posey, and he spent weeks reevaluating the clues, looking over the areas that he had already searched, and comparing photos of the box where it had been found. And when I say like he was obsessed, he had pictures of the box where it had been found and then wandered around in the woods trying to find fallen trees and sticks that looked similar.
Why?
Because he really wanted to know where that damn box was.
Okay.
Yeah, he found the precise location, even though Jack had never revealed it, the finder, and Forrest had never said. He just said it was in Wyoming. And Justin had been in that area. He had that area as a place that he had searched. He just didn't find the precise location and the box when it was still there. He found it after the fact. He found, oh gosh, the box
remnants.
looked like here, and this tree was fallen like that, and this stick was laying like that, and he
that would
found the
drive.
spot.
Imagine being that guy. Imagine.
I would
It
lose
would
my
drive me
mind.
nuts. Yeah.
I would lose my
It's like,
freaking mind.
I figured it out. I finally figured it out, and it's just not there.
Yep. The location of the box became a spot for the other treasure hunters to visit and, give their appreciation to Forrest and in remembrance of him. Much of the treasure went up for auction in 2022, earning over $1 million. So it was worth $1 million worth of goodies. Justin, the guy who had to find the exact location, he was inspired by the treasure and the spirit of adventure that Forrest Fenn wanted to develop in people from this whole thing. So he decided he was going to start a treasure hunt of his own.
Ooh.
In fact, the documentary of this story is on Netflix. Justin, who was featured throughout the show, included clues to where his treasure has been hidden. So if you're a treasure hunter and you like adventure, then I would say closely watch the show. It's called Gold and Greed, The Hunt for Fenn's Treasure. And then you can see if you can go find Justin's box of gold.
That sounds pretty fun. I mean, I've accidentally geocached before, and that was pretty cool. But we were on a camping trip, and we weren't intentionally geocaching, but we just found this box. And when we opened it up, there was like little stuff there, and it was cool. People read the name and like, oh, we just found a geocache on accident.
Yeah.
So
it's cool.
Imagine doing a geocache and there's $100,000 in there.
There's $1 million worth of gold and shit in it. In the new box, in Justin's treasure, he put some of the pieces in his treasure that had been in Forrest's treasure that he bought at the auction. And so he included those as,
oh, that's cool.
Like homage to Forrest for having started this whole thing.
That's cool. I like that.
Yeah. I don't want to try and piece together clues and
I
try
think
and
it would
find a
be cool.
treasure. Okay,
I
you
mean,
get on it, man, and you go find that box of gold. Good luck to ya.
well, I'm sure it's not in the U.S. anywhere. Like,
No, I think it is. Although I don't know for sure.
I don't know.
You
Yeah, you
watch
never
the
know.
show and
It's
see if you
hidden
can
in.
figure out the clues.
Okay, let's talk about Jamie Lavis. It was May 5th, 1997, and 8-year-old Jamie Lavis left his home in Openshaw, Manchester. He was just a kid exploring his neighborhood like he'd done many times before. That day, Jamie got on the 219 bus. He was alone, and the driver was 25-year-old Darren Vickers. Jamie rode that bus for hours, and instead of taking him home, Darren let Jamie ride the bus for the full route. So he
So he's just riding
convinced,
around in circles.
yeah, the kid was
Okay.
going somewhere, and the driver convinced him just to hang out on the bus, and so he just sat on the bus for all
Oh.
the stops. Yeah,
Oh, the driver convinced him he wasn't just aimlessly sitting on the bus being bored.
yeah.
Okay. That's different. Okay.
So Darren, sorry, he later claimed that the boy just kept getting back on, but truth was more sinister.
No.
Vickers had already picked his target. Jamie would never make it home.
No.
That night, Jamie was reported missing. At first, it was treated like a possible runaway. Police searched the area, flyers were printed, local news covered the story, and from the very beginning, Darren Vickers inserted himself into the investigation, the bus driver.
Right. You got to be close to know what's going on.
He went on TV pleading for information. He joined search parties. He befriended Jamie's parents, Karen and John Lavis.
What a
And then,
dick.
just wait, and then
Oh,
he
God.
moved into their house to help them
No.
look for their son.
I didn't see that one coming. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, this guy, I don't like him.
And
I
the
hate this
pictures,
guy.
like, they have pictures together, like, for news reporting and stuff like that. And it just, like, to know what happened and to see the pictures is just, like, kind of, because the parents are obviously sad. And then he's
Yeah.
sitting in between them, like, oh, we're going to find, yeah.
Oh, I hate this guy.
He slept in their bed while they took the sofa. He ate dinner with them. He consoled Jamie's little sister. All the while, he knew exactly what had happened to Jamie. Like,
No. I don't like it.
he was lying from the start. He told police Jamie had gotten off the bus near his home, but other witnesses contradicted that. Some said they saw Jamie on the bus much later. Vickers kept changing his story in the interviews, adding small details and just messing up timelines. And eventually the police grew suspicious. They started to dig into him, and what they found was disturbing. He had a history of inappropriate behavior around children, nothing concrete enough to charge him before, but enough to raise red flags. Still without a body, they had nothing to hold him on. That changed on October 1999, 2.5 years after he vanished.
Oh my,
Yeah.
that's so long.
I don't think he was living in the house the whole time, but he definitely stayed with them to help search for his body, if you want to call it that.
I hope bad things happen to this person.
A dog walker found human remains in a wooded area called Reddish Vale. Just imagine, you're 15 years old, your job is walking dogs for neighborhood, and oh my, A dog just runs off because it smells
Yeah.
something that's for a dog.
Yeah. Oh.
The remains were in an advanced state of decomposition, hidden in dense undergrowth. Forensics confirmed it was Jamie Lavis. Lavis, sorry, not Lewis. When confronted with the discovery, Vickers couldn't help keep up the act. Police arrested him that same week. During the investigation, they pieced together what happened. After his final shift on the bus that day, Vickers took Jamie to a remote area in the bus depot. He assaulted the boy and murdered him, and then left his body hidden in the woods. He returned to work. He carried on like nothing had happened. And then he moved in with family of the boy he killed, which is just the most to be fed by his family.
Yeah, and he's sleeping in their bed while they sleep on the couch.
It's ridiculous.
Maybe you'll mention this later. I don't know. Maybe I'm jumping ahead. But why did they suspect him after they found the body? Because you said they found the body and then a week later he was arrested. Was there something on the body that led them to him, or?
It was the witnesses saying, because they questioned him because he was the bus driver. That was the last place he was really seen, was on the bus. And he told the police, he got off near his house. But the witnesses said,
no, he
I saw him on the bus the whole time. Like,
okay.
So they tracked him back and they figured out he was at the bus depot. So at the trial, the details were devastating. The prosecution laid out a timeline of manipulation, deception, and cruelty. And he never showed remorse. He manipulated that he cared for Jamie and downplayed the crime, and the jury didn't buy it. In 2000, Darren Vickers was found guilty of abduction, sexual assault, and murder, and was sentenced to life in prison with a minimum term of 25 years.
That's good. How old was he?
Yeah. Which one?
Darren, the douchebag.
I'm not
Darren
sure.
the
I think
douchebag.
it
That's
was
his new name.
Late 20s, I want to say. I'm not positive on that. He was.
So he's not going to die in there in 25 years unless somebody takes him out. Okay.
It's just the fact that he was living with his family is just completely unbelievable.
What kind of dick does that? Like, it's bad enough.
He probably thought it would make it seem like he was less guilty if he was trying to search for the kid that he killed. Like,
that's extreme.
Yeah. It's really horrible.
Talk about inserting yourself into investigation, but that is beyond.
I was like, you think about it, he was gonna get caught either way, but the fact that he inserted himself is just
those poor parents to
be like, we fed this guy, we let him sleep under our roof.
Yeah, he was our
the one
friend.
who did it. It's just horrible.
Yep. His new name is Darren the douchebag.
I don't know if that cuts it.
It doesn't. It's not anywhere close to approaching what should be nicknamed that monster, but that just
horrible story.
Terrible. I don't like it. I'm glad you glossed over like what he did though. Where kid stuff, I don't need that. But anyway, yes, chaser. Let's talk about a chaser. I have a good chaser, and I haven't told you this yet, but our friend Morita, you haven't met Morita, but she's a fan of the show. She works with Gina, and Morita is a fan of the show. Like I said, she was listening to one of our recent episodes where we needed Irish whiskey for the drink. and we both were talking about how we just used regular whiskey because we didn't want to go buy a bottle of whiskey.
Mhm.
She bought us each a bottle of Irish whiskey of Jameson and gave it to Gina and said, "Here, please
Wow.
get this to Jane and Declan." So shout out to
Well,
Marita.
yeah.
Thank you
Thank you,
so
Marina.
much for
Thank
the
you.
bottles of Irish whiskey. And she apparently was like, they did not have Irish whiskey for their drinks. Well, I will make sure that never happens again. So
Okay.
soon
Shout out
we
the
will
plug.
have to
Thank you, Marina.
yeah, we'll have to find a drink to do with Irish whiskey just to say thanks again to Marita. So
Yes. Thank you so much.
yeah. What's your chaser?
My chaser is a watch recommendation, and I'm going to preface this right now. This is not a good movie. This is not something.
Then why is it
This
your
is
recommendation?
just wait, you'll see.
Okay.
So this movie, it's got bad acting in it, and it's not a great movie,
Okay.
but the way it's done is super cool. So
Like
it's
the
called
artistic side of it?
yes. So it's called
Okay.
Sin City: A Dame to Kill For. The movie is filmed in black and white, except for reds, oranges, and yellows.
Okay.
Only for certain things. So like movies black and white, they're playing cards, and like the red heart on the card is red, but the
Oh,
rest of the scene
okay.
is black and white. And it's a mix between live action and like animated. But it's got a
Okay.
star-studded cast. It's got Bruce Willis, it's got Josh Brolin, Joseph Gordon-Levitt,
Wow.
Lady Gaga.
Wow.
It's got some really, really good actors in it. And again, the
Cool.
movie is so corny. It's so goofy, but like
Okay.
the way it's filmed, if you have a couple cocktails, maybe you take an edible, just watch that movie. It's so it's a delight. But don't go in expecting
Okay.
to see an award-winning movie. It's just a cool movie to
Okay.
watch.
Okay.
That's my chaser.
On a technical question, I mean, I don't do movie editing or anything like that. I don't have a background, but how difficult would it be to add in just specific colors in just specific places?
I imagine it'd be well, so this movie was made in 2014. I feel like
Okay.
if
Back
they made it
then, pain in the
nowadays,
ass.
yeah,
It'd be
yeah,
easier because you
nowadays,
could
I
just
think you
throw
can do
yeah,
some
filter for
Photoshop
color.
type, yeah, something
Yeah.
like that. But the way it's done, it's not like you could tell there's red, but they make the reds and stuff intentional. Like
Mhm.
there's there's this one person that's in the movie that is never black and white, and it's The Dame
Oh,
to Kill For, the name of the movie. Like
okay.
that's
Right.
played by the curly head girl from Ozark.
Oh,
So
yeah.
she's never black and white in any scene she's in. So
Oh,
that would
wow.
be more difficult than I think just picking out red, because
Yeah.
there's probably reds or red hues in
You
the
can
other.
filter it out.
Yeah.
It
It's a
would be a
really
pain in the
cool.
ass, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it
I would
looks
want
tough,
that
but
job.
it's a cool movie. I liked it.
Okay.
I think you
I'll
guys
check
should
it out.
watch it.
All right.
Just keep in mind it's it's so
But it's
goofy.
kind of a yeah.
It's like watching a comic book, basically. Like
Okay.
that's kind
Yeah,
of
I can
how
see
it's
that.
filmed. Like the films are very comic book shot, but it's a cool movie. I liked it.
Okay. Cool.
It's got a 43 on Rotten Tomatoes, so don't expect anything good. But
I don't ever pay attention to those any of Rotten Tomatoes or any recommendations from movie critics and stuff because I typically don't like what's in,
I
what the
really
movie
love shitty
critics.
movies. Like I love
Yeah.
shitty movies. That's all I know.
Yeah. All right. I
Alrighty.
think that wraps us up for today.
Yeah. Thanks for listening to us, everybody.
Yes.
Go ahead and give us a rating on Apple. Give us a follow. Give us a like. Give us
Yes, we
a
haven't
drop
we
a
haven't
DM or a
had
comment.
For
if you have a
sure.
suggestion.
Contact
if you
us.
want to
We
hear a
love hearing
specific
from
story.
everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will say we haven't had an Apple review lately, so if anybody wants us to read one, please leave us one because I would love
Yeah,
to read a new Apple review.
We'll give you a shout out.
Absolutely.
All
right.
Love
Love
you,
you, bud. Bye.
Bye.
Hey, friends. Thank you for supporting our podcast. Please share our show with your brutal and bizarre friends. Give us a boozy follow on your favorite podcast platform. If you're feeling extra generous, we'd appreciate a 5-star rating or review as well. But maybe do that sober so all the letters are in the right place.
You can find all our contact information in the show notes. We love hearing from you, and if you're interested in helping us stock the bar for our future boozy episodes, you can find our Patreon link in the show notes as well.